Welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and with us, as always, our wrestling expert, Tate Hot Rod Mathews. What's going on, Tate?
Hot Rod is back. Hot Rod Rousey.
He's back. She's back for the WWE. All right, let's talk about wrestling right now. TWSAA State Championships coming up. We have history's been made. The first male team, boys team at Fairview making a qualifying for the state tournament, which is the wrestling team at Fairview. Nolensville also qualifying. I don't like this draw whatsoever. What are you kidding me?
It's unbelievable.
Fairview versus Nolensville in the opening match.
Oh, all the excitement that you're talking about, and then we get two of them in, and you mentioned Fairview, and it's a blind draw, so right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
we think.
What are they?
We host it, and they put us against each other, right?
There's the conspiracy theorist out there, but you hate for Fairview and Nolensville to have to. But, right off the bat, one of them is going to go to the loser bracket. But they've wrestled twice. Nolensville's won both of them. But as we'll talk about in the AAA, that usually doesn't mean whoever won the last one. It really matters right now who wins this last one. So, but two of them in, and congratulations to Fairview. And I think we mentioned it last week, but I want to make sure the thing that's so impressive about what Fairview's done, and Nolensville, being in their second year, but this is the duels. This isn't the individuals. So Fairview could have 3 state champions, and you're still not making it. What this means is they've got 14 guys out there, right? They're filling every spot, and they got quality wrestlers at every spot. So the amount of numbers they've gotten out, both them and Nolensville in such a short time, and then the quality of the numbers they've got out, and then the quality of the wrestlers. This is the duels. This is a team meet. Big deal. Really impressive.
It is a big deal. On the AAA level, we talk about bad draws. Once again, Centennial gets in. They have to face Cleveland. Cleveland's a perennial favorite,
and they're really good this
single year. And then you got Brentwood versus Saudi Daisy, which is another East Tennessee team that's always really good.
If you're talking statewide and you're unbiased, you're probably talking. We drew the number one and number. We did draw the number one team in the tournament. That's Cleveland. That's not even debatable. And then for most of the season, everybody thought Bradley Central was number 2. Well, Saudi put Bradley out to make it. So. But again, you're going to have to see him at some point. So, and then going back to the district tournament, boy, you want to talk about heartbreakers. Independence wins the district tournament. This is how tough this region is. Independence wins the district tournament. The top 3 go on to the region, which is Independence, Brentwood, and Centennial, and then Independence ends up getting beat. So what a great season they had. But Centennial and Brentwood are the 2 to go on, great job by Brentwood. They come back and they thought, favorite to win the district. They don't, but they fight back and they end up beating Independence to win the region. Big win by Colby Finch in that one. That's what's fun. Colby Finch in the Brentwood match.
Who is Dana Finch's son, who's the principal at Heritage, and Coach Finch's son, who's the offensive coordinator at Brentwood High School.
Exactly.
Football.
And he gets his toughness from Dana, without a doubt. But Colby lost a match in the district against Independence. He turns around, wins that same match. And you see what I'm saying? That's how close it is when you start wrestling like these, and two teams in a matter of days. And so that was really neat. That's what's fun about region tournament. I guess my point is that's what's fun about region tournament. You have these guys where, hey man, I know you've lost to this guy, but we got to have it. And when it happens like that, it's really neat. So, but it's going to be fun. Cleveland, tough. Saudi Daisy, tough. But you're going to see them at some point if you're going to do what you wanted to do anyways.
Real quick, who's some individuals during this dual matchups that we can look at?
You look at Brentwood and the Milisalkis kid at 126. Now, he wrestled 132 in the district or the region. I don't know if that means he's bumped up. I don't think it does. I think maybe that was a matchup thing. I need to figure that out. But I think he's at 126. He's either at 126 or 132. He's ranked number 1 in the state. He's got 1 loss all year long. He's a guy to look out for. And then Skylar Coffey, the 220 they've got a bunch of them at Brentwood and Centennial, but watch out for those 2. Skylar Coffey, the 220. I love watching those guys. What they are, they're athletic heavyweights, right? They're not quite 285, but they're big dudes, and they can still move and shoot. That's one of my favorite weight classes to watch. Skylar's an athlete.
Well, wrestling will start up Friday at the Ag Pavilion at the Ag Expo Center here in Franklin, right off 65. We always host that event. It's a great event. It's a real neat venue to go watch that. They have mats everywhere. There's tons of matches going on at one time. Really neat event. It starts this Friday, the TWSAA Wrestling Championships. We want to wish all of the WCS Sports Conference teams the best of luck. Brentwood, Centennial, Nolensville, and Fairview. And wish those guys best of luck. Like I said, we didn't get the best of draws, but you never know, once you get in there, who's the hottest, who's wrestling the best. Basketball, man, 4 games left. This is the best time of the year, Tate. We talk about it all the time. 3 parts to the season. The preseason, which is before Christmas, the after Christmas season, and then the district tournament. We are building towards that district tournament. We're 4 games away. Basically, in 2 weeks, man, we're going to crown a district champion. That's pretty hard to believe.
Time flies.
Friday night, rivalry night here in WCS Sports Conference. We have the border battle happening. We have the Battle of the Woods and the Battle of Franklin all happening at the same time. We're going to have a special event. If you want to see our ugly faces some more and want to hear us, we'll be streaming this event Friday night, starting at 9:30 at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Come join us out there. They have all kinds of specials going on. The coaches will be coming, players coming, be having some interviews with those folks. It's going to be a fun time.
Oh, without a doubt. I can't wait. And we'll get to, what I love about those events is you get to see kind of the different side of some of our coaches' personalities at these kind of deals. And so it'll be fun. Plus, it's another chance to hear you and I talk basketball.
That's right.
And the food's really good.
It's at 105 International Drive. Food's great. Wall Banger's personally my favorite. So all those people, come out, join us. Come out, see us in live, in person, including our Gallatin and
Are you
Montgomery.
signing autographs?
Yes. Gallatin and Montgomery County fans, they can come too. It'll be a good time.
Captain Younglife from Gallatin. I hope he's there.
Basketball on the girls' side. Brentwood 16-5, 9-2. They beat Spring Hill 67-26. Lost to Summit in a stunner Friday night. Huge win for the Lady Spartans, 46-37. Has Franklin and Page and the Battle of Woods. They've got a 3-game week.
Ooh.
The snow cost us this a week ago. They're kind of talking like maybe some weather could come in Thursday night, Friday night, could throw a little wrench in this whole plan. But if it stays this course, this will be the only 3-game week going to district tournament, which is good. If we have to mix some games around, you're looking at potentially 2 weeks of 3 games. 3-game weeks going into the district tournament.
But what I'm hearing you say is we're going to get them all in regardless, right?
We're going to get them in.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to get them in. But you're looking at, maybe the weather will hold out this week and we won't have that problem. But this is a huge week for some of our teams, specifically Brentwood with a 3-game week. And Brentwood playing Franklin.
Oh, man.
Huge game, man. It's going to be capacity crowd. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere. It's pretty much for first place on both the girls and the boys game.
Without a doubt, and that's going to be that's going to be a fun one to watch. And this is what I love about this time of the season you're talking about, and you kind of alluded to it last week, was Summit's girls. When they put all the pieces together with the Colsons and
Avery Davis,
they're really good.
Yes,
and here,
right.
What do? It looks like Brentwood's separating themselves from the pack, and then Summit puts it all together one night, beats them, and got after them pretty good, 46-37. So, what does that mean? Summit playing pretty well going into the district tournament. That's pretty scary. Now they got Franklin. The key, I would think, if it's a defensive battle, that leans in Franklin's favor. So Brentwood's got to find a way to get, that scoring back up. But golly, tough week.
Jillian King, Holly Harris, Izzy Franco, the Trussell twins. Then you look down at Dixon with the young lady that's going to Lipscomb.
Is that Rosenbaum?
Yes, Rosenbaum. And, that's the 3 top teams right now in the district. They both have 2 losses. You're going to look at potentially a 3rd loss for somebody in that group to be in 2nd place. I mean, this is a
and then
log
with the
jam up
Ravenwood
top.
win over the Lady Raptors win over Dixon the other night. So they've shown. I mean, it looked like Dixon was number 1. Now Brentwood's number 1. They've both been knocked off. It's going to be fun.
And Franklin's playing better than any of them. Ravenwood has come from the depths, man. They're right there in the mix of things. This is murder's row this week for Brentwood.
Yes.
They have a tough week ahead of them. Centennial 5-12, 1-10 on an opposite trend that I'm sure that Coach Simmons would like to get changed. They've lost to Indy 59-24, lost to Page 56-31. They've lost 5 in a row. They host Dixon and at Franklin this week in the Battle of Franklin. He will not have to get his girls up for that game, but they're going to have to play really well. They've got to get their minds right going into the tournament because I think they are the most dangerous team on that bottom half of the bracket.
They're pretty scary, and it's a big week. So you would think if he could maybe get one of the 2, you got to feel good about that. But those are 2 tough games right there.
Fairview, 7-14, 5-5. They've won 2 in a row. They beat Hickman County 40-27. They beat Waverly 43-41. Those are both district wins, good wins for the Fairview Lady Yellow Jackets. They host East Hickman. That's going to be a tough game for them. East Hickman kind of sitting in that second spot right now in District 11 AA. Creekwood's another good team. Audrey Cox obviously always leading the way for the Lady Jackets with a double-double. But they've kind of creeped themselves back in. They're 500 in district play.
And you know what? We'll take that. Keep playing well going into the tournament. And those are two nice wins last week. So they can make some noise in the tournament. They just got to keep playing like they're playing. Get ready for the tournament.
Franklin Lady Rebels 18-2. Coach Wild sitting at 8-2 right now in the district rankings. Ranked number 10 in the mid-state. Beat Page 39-30. And also they host Brentwood. Now they lost to Brentwood first time 56-51. This one's going to be a tough
Can't
one.
let this game get over 40-45.
Matter of fact, we've got to pick this week. We've got to pick this week. And I want you to pick who's going to win the Battle of Franklin, the Border Battle, and the Battle of the Woods, right? So when we get to it. But this game is separate from those. Franklin, Brentwood, girls' side. Who wins this game?
It's at Franklin?
It's at Franklin.
I'm going to go with Franklin.
I have to agree. I think.
But it has to stand at 45 points. Maybe 40.
I think they're playing better at this point in time. But yes, I think a low-scoring game favors for sure Franklin.
The Wolves got a game plan, man.
We'll see how it goes. They're also Franklin also at Indy and host Centennial for the Battle of Franklin on Friday. Would you like to pick that game right there, Battle of Franklin? Who do you have between Centennial?
Girls?
Yes.
I'm going to go with Franklin. I think they go 2-0 this week.
I agree with you. Actually, they have 3 games they have at Indy. So you're going to go 3-0 this week?
I think they go 3-0 this week.
Okay, Indy 7-14, 2-7. Independence Lady Eagles have been playing better as of late. They're 2-7 in district play. They beat Centennial 59-24. Like I said, they host Franklin, which Franklin won the first time, 59-21. Summit also this week in the border battle. They won that border battle 60-35. Excuse me, Summit did. Who do you think is going to win the border battle between the Lady Eagles and Lady Spartans this week?
I mean, you got to think Summit with that big win over Brentwood. They're playing really well right now. I would go with the Lady Spartans.
I agree with you.
But Indy's playing better.
It's the ebb and flow right now, the Lady Spartans, up, down, up, down. So right now I think the wave is up. If they can get the win on the Tuesday night game, who they play Ravenwood. So do we, if we get beat by Ravenwood, is there a hangover there that we kind of feel sorry for ourselves? Or do we have a huge win against Ravenwood and then all of a sudden,
let down?
There's so many things going on there. This game is a
Coach Goodwin will have
I hate to use the word trap game, but it doesn't fall in a favorable spot for the Lady Spartans. No. But I think they're playing a little bit better basketball. So I'm going to give the edge to the Colson twins, Avery Davis, and that bunch. The Lady Spartans beat Independence.
I like it. I'm with you.
All right, Nolensville, 15-5, 4-1. They beat Murfreesboro Central Magnet
like a drum,
49-16. And Community, 53-43. They host Forest this week, which they won 51-36. Marshall County this week as well. Giles County, they get a chance to revenge the lone loss in district play at Giles County, 64-61. Lost to the Lady Bobcats. Nolensville wins every one of these games. Not only do they win them big, and they sit atop alone in District 10 AA ball.
Ooh, that'd be big. Zoe Pillar putting up points. She's going to have a big week.
Lady Knights are not any team to be sleeping on. Sub-state or bust. I'm still predicting it. You heard it here first. Page 12-9, 4-6 in district play. Beat Centennial 56-31. They're at Brentwood, which they lost 49-39 in a close contest the first go-round. They host Spring Hill. We know the outcome of that game. So what do we think about the Brentwood game?
Well, they were in it and gave them a tough run for 3 quarters, really. So, and the thing that I love, I believe that was the game that Faith Wilkin had 30 points, 10 rebounds. So against Brentwood, you got somebody putting up 30 points, especially in ladies basketball, you got a chance. So they were just one of those teams where they haven't quite got one of those guys yet, but they're always close.
Yeah,
and as we know, come tournament time, it only takes once.
For disaster for somebody, but a recipe for success with them.
That's right. That's right.
So Coach Brock's team's just kind of hanging, man. It's one
of
those
teams
will
just
be
hang
Spring around.
Hill. They will be Spring Hill. Didn't you say they host Spring Hill?
Right. Thank you for that prophetic response there. That was difficult to predict, right?
Just filling them in.
All right. Summit 6-8, 3-4. Huge win over Brentwood, 46-37. They host Ravenwood. Man, that could be a huge win for Coach Goodwin if they could somehow beat a very good playing team right now in the Lady Raptors of Ravenwood. And then they play Independence on Friday, which they won 60-35. If you look at the standings, Brentwood right now in first 9-2, Dixon 10-2, Franklin 8-2. That's a log jam for 1 through 3. Then you got Ravenwood at 7-4. Summit right now sitting at 5. If it in the 5th slot, Page in 6, 4-6, Indy 7th, and Spring Hill and Centennial round up 8-9. 4-5 game. Look at that 4-5 game right now would be Ravenwood Summit. Somebody's going home on the ladies' side. That would be a difficult matchup.
Oh, yeah. And didn't this happen last year where they played each other like 3 times in the last 2 weeks of the season last year? I mean, it just seems to be like that every year.
Kiera Downey Z show. Remember that?
That's right.
Yeah. Kiera Downey still around, senior. This year, 1,000-point score, that, all-time leading scorer.
Over 1,600, I believe.
It's a lot of
and
points.
I noticed, I don't know if we mentioned, but I read in an article this week, Holly Harris, we know how good she is. She's over 1,600 points. That's amazing.
She is a great player for that team. She's obviously going to Huntsville, thank you. University of Alabama, Huntsville. Be interesting to see how her career unfolds there. I think she's a diamond in the rough.
Averaging over 18, that's pretty strong.
All right, looking on the boys' side, Brentwood 18-4, 10-1 after being beaten by Centennial 58-57. The Bruins have run off 4 in a row, 4 wins. Beat Spring Hill 52-26, and a big win over Summit Spartans 56-44. It was a TV game last week on Channel 30. I happened to be there. Very highly contested. This game was, matter of fact, 1 or 2 point game until about the last 2 minutes, and all of a sudden they got up. Brentwood kind of went on a scoring surge there, got up 10 on them, and never looked back.
Yeah, that was a big win, and you're right, it was a tough game all the way through. But they're just playing really well, man. They're sitting there at 18-4 and got a lot of guys. That's the other thing that I love about them. They got a lot of guys contributing. It's just not a 1 or 2 man show. They got a lot of guys contributing, and they're so dang long.
Well, we're going to look at
athletic on defense.
We're going to look at some clips from Franklin. We're going to talk about this matchup, this big matchup for first place between Franklin and Brentwood. Brentwood really is a very good defensive team. That's their length and their height.
That's kind of what they hang their hat on.
Right. It's one of those things that cause matchup problems for people, and I'll tell you why. You go down the list. You look at David Winley, who's a really, really good 2-guard right now for them. You got Preston Moore running the point guard, but David Winley is a really good 6'2", 6'3" shooting guard. Can fill it up.
That's right.
And then, in the 3 spot, you've got Jack Thurman. He's 6'4", can play well. And then you've got Harry Lackey. So the issue is you've got 3 solid players in those particular are scoring the bulk of the load for them. And usually the other, the opposing teams will have 1, 2 good defenders, but who's the third defender?
That's right.
The third defender on Harry Lackey is usually going to be a post, and that is a mismatch waiting to happen.
He's an
Harry
athletic
Lackey
post.
can catch the ball, facing the basket, slashes to the basket, and it causes matchup problems. That's where they get you on the offensive side. But defensively, it makes it really difficult to penetrate on a team with that much size.
I agree, and I think that's what's going to be fun about the Franklin game is I think both defenses pose the other offense a matchup problem. I think, Franklin, what are they? We talk about it all the time. They're not the tallest, they're not the biggest, but boy, they can shoot and they can shoot from anywhere. But Brentwood's defense is so long and athletic, what against some other guys is a wide open shot, boom, it's already closed up. So I think that's fun. And then I think on the other side, I think DJ's 1-3-1, Franklin's 1-3-1. I think it poses them a little bit of a problem. So probably why that game was 56-55 last time, went to overtime. I think this is another tight one. It's going to be a packed gym. Without a doubt, the game of the week.
You had Zach Leonard as the 5 for – it started as a 5 for Brentwood. Ben Mills comes in and they kind of alternate some time there. Those guys played a really solid game against Summit. Could be interesting against the 1-3-1. How much do they come and play? How much do we play into the hands of Franklin? We shoot the 3, we shoot the long ball, or do we try to get it in there, make the teams collapse, and then and dish it away? And I'm sure that Coach Jones is going to mix it up. We're going to play man. We're going to play 1-3-1. We're going to throw some trash at you, everything we can do, because that's the way they play. And it is going to be an electric atmosphere. Yeah. Reese Glover. This guy can fill up anyway. Let's look at some clips real quick. look at what Franklin does really well offensively. As you can see in this first clip right here, Reese Glover in the range that these guys can shoot from, Tate. Look, Reese Glover's shooting. I mean, we're not even going to guard him out there, right? People don't.
That's an NBA
They don't
three-pointer.
think that they want to guard him out there, but then they hit the three. But then as soon as he hits it, he can penetrate. He can throw it to Evan Sigler. Sigler plays really, really good basketball. This is off the dribble. Not a lot of high school kids can deliver off the dribble from that range. Once again, here he is back tipping in that 1-3-1. They get it out. He can always finish with the best of them. Remember, this kid is under 6 foot, by the way.
That's right.
Under 6 feet. Here he is dribbling and driving. Evan Sigler has the same range that he has. So what they're going to have to do, the interesting matchup of this whole thing is going to be, can Brentwood get out there and make these shots a little difficult? You see right there the step back three from Glover. That will be a little bit better contested from Brentwood because of their length.
That's right.
But if those shots fall for them, it's going to be a long night.
Well, the key is if they're hitting long range, it opens everything else up, and then they can penetrate. And I mean, it's again, I don't want it to sound corny, but it's kind of Golden State-esque. You know, when you're hitting out that far, they got to come, and then that opens up lanes and penetration and the like. When they're not, they can sit back there packed in, and it's do or die by the three.
Well, as we're talking, these clips are playing. What you got to think of, too, is how unselfish this team is. If Reese Glover has a single-digit night, he is just as excited for his teammates hitting shots than anybody, but that guy can fill it up. Yep. One thing that's underrated for Reese is the fact that he can catch the ball and not only shoot the three with somebody in your face, he'll head fake, he'll get into the middle of the basket, and he'll make the teams collapse, and he can pass as good as anybody. And he can finish amongst the trees in there because he's not, like I said, he's not the biggest player. But extremely fun to watch. This game between them and Brentwood for the first place is going to be really, really fun.
I think it's going to be a great one.
That's not the only game they have this week, though.
That's right.
They have Brentwood, then they have the Battle of the Woods Friday against Ravenwood at Ravenwood, which they won 34-31. Do you dare predict that game?
Good game, but I go with Brentwood. I think they're playing really, really well.
I think they're playing well, too.
And I watched Ravenwood play Franklin. They can pick off anybody. They're athletic, but I like Brentwood.
I think they're playing well, too, but you guys take something into consideration. G2 Bar at the Nest for Battle of the Woods. Mr. Producer, make sure you put me down right here. Ravenwood wins that game. Centennial, 10-11, 5-6 after beating Brentwood, have lost 4 in a row. Coach Froden's wanting to get his team on the right track as well. Lost to Indy 47-43 and lost to Page 52-49. I don't know if that's indicative of the fact that maybe they're on a downward trend and the other guys are playing well, but I think it shows the parity of the league right now.
I do too.
So
I think that's exactly what it is.
Centennial hosts Dixon this week, 74-66. They won the first time. And then Battle of Franklin. Predict that one for me.
Franklin.
I'm going to have to agree. I think there's a lot going on with the Brentwood matchup to see, but I think that game Friday night is going to be well attended. Both sides, it's going to be fun. Fairview, 16-5. Don't sleep on the west side of the county. Coach Trey McCoy have won 4 in a row. They beat Hickman County 57-45 and Waverly 57-55. They are in first place and lead by 2 games with 3 to go.
I know those two wins last week broke your heart.
Because Hickman County.
And Waverly.
Waverly. Franklin, 18.
Great job. Great job.
Absolutely.
They got a chance to get 20 wins, and I hope they get it.
Literally, you could add up every year up to this point.
He's got to be Coach of the Year.
Playing great. Franklin, 18-3, 8-2, have won 12 in a row. The Rebels have not lost in 2018. Their last loss goes all the way back to December 8th. Beat Page 60-57 this week to host Brentwood. We talked about them. We showed the clips. Can they get their 13th, 14th, and 15th in a row this week? Will yet to be seen.
That's
Independence.
3 tough games.
Independence, 3-16, 3-8. They beat Centennial 47-43. That brings us to the WCTV Play of the Week. Matt James back in action. He's the catalyst for that team with the penetrating pitch to Matt St. Charles for the go-ahead 3.
St. Charles from the corner knocks it down. Matt St. Charles with his 3rd 3 of the night. Independence takes a 2-point edge, 40-38. 3:17 to go. Matt St. Charles, the sophomore forward, 6'3". He's got 3 threes, all of them huge. None bigger than that one, though.
As you can see right there, Mac James, defense collapse, kicks, wide open. Matt St. Charles, 6'2", 6'3" shooter. He continues to be good. He can be deadly. Independence is sneaky now. Watch out for them in the district tournament coming up. They also have the border battle this week, Summit, which they lost the first go-round 69-53. You want to predict that one?
Man, that's tough because that play right there is the difference Mac James makes. You know, his just ability to penetrate, that held that defender, he kicked it to him, he nailed it. He makes him, I don't care about the record, it makes him dangerous, but I'm going to go with Summit.
I'm going to go with Summit as well. They're just so close.
I would not want to see Independence in this tournament.
Getting it figured out. Summit's almost there. They need to play with a little bit more sense of urgency. Let's have a little pride, get after it. That team can make a deep run.
Yes.
All right, Nolensville 10-10, 4-1. Don't let the 10 losses fool you because they've played an extremely tough schedule. 4-1, they've won three in a row. Beat Community 69-38. And Murfreesboro Magnet 45-40. Showdown with Forest. They lost 79-71. This will be for first place. They'll beat Forest, and they're going to beat them relatively easy. I'm going to tell you, I'm predicting they're going to beat Marshall County. Marshall County's got a good player down there. It's averaging 67 points a game. He'll have about 15 that night, and then they're going to be in first place in 12AA.
Safe to say Blodorn's the best player in that district?
Yes, it's between him and the kid at Marshall County. The kid at Marshall County is really good.
But he's older.
Yes, you got to think he's a senior, left-handed guard. Page 6-14, 4-8. They're kind of making their way around here. They host Spring Hill this week. That'll be a win for them. And then they play Ravenwood. They lost 54-45. First go-round for those guys. Ravenwood 15-6, 19-3. Coach Whitlock always in the mix, Tate. Yeah. Always in the mix. Beat Spring Hill 67-39 and Dixon 61-50. They're currently sitting in third place. Summit 10-7, 5-5. They did lose to Brentwood 56-44, but they host Ravenwood and Indy for the border battle this week. I want to look at something. In 11 AAA right now, first place Brentwood, second Franklin, third Ravenwood, fourth Summit, fifth Centennial, Dixon, Page, Indy, Spring Hill rounded out. Those top 4 teams right there.
Here's what I would say. That Indy game with victory over Centennial is proof now that they're healthy and playing well. 1 through 8 can beat anybody any night.
Mr. Producer, what did we mess up on?
All right, guys, good show. Nothing really that you messed up on. Just a little fact about Brentwood Wrestling. Headed back to state for the first time since 2012.
Nice.
So that was cool. And a congrats to Pages, Jack Emerson, and Faith Wilkin, Gateway Tire Players of the Week.
Excellent. Thank you for that information, Mr. Producer. Hot Rod, until next time, Friday night, don't forget.
Are you going to wear that jacket, like?
I'm going to try to. Buffalo Wings and Rings, 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Get there early.
9:30. They got all kind of specials going on. 103 International Drive for the WCS Sports Conference post-game party. I'm Jeremy Qualls. It's Tate Mathews. We'll see you next time.
You are the national parks, and no matter who you are or where you come from, the parks are you too.
You know the most important lesson you can teach your kids about playing sports is concussion signs and symptoms. After a hit to the head, if they have any concussion signs like blurred vision or headache, they need to stay out of play until they're checked by a healthcare professional. Play safe when it comes to concussion. When in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. This is the other thing you can teach them. Comes in handy.